Children, on 9th January 1915, Gandhiji returned to India from South Africa. As suggested by Gopal Krishna Gokhale, he made a tour of the entire nation. He became sad looking at the misery and poverty of the people. He took up the vow of service to the nation. He stayed at the Sabarmati ashram in Ahmedabad. He followed a new technique of Satyagraha to gain justice for common people. So children, in 1915, Gandhiji returned to India from South Africa. He toured the length and breadth of India. He took up the cause of the peasants and the workers here. He adopted the novel path of Satyagraha for this cause. Children, now I would like to discuss about the philosophy of Satyagraha. What is meant by the word Satyagraha? Gandhiji brought in a novel technique of Satyagraha in the popular movement. Satyagraha means insistence of truth. It is very important, children. What is meant by the word Satyagraha? Satyagraha means insistence of truth. The main objective of Satyagraha is through patience and Satyagraha, an unjust person is made aware of truth and justice and also bring transformation in his views. A person following Satyagraha should never use violence, and untruth means was the teachings of Gandhiji. Later, not only in India but in many parts of world, people adopted the path of Satyagraha to fight against injustice. Gandhiji's path of Satyagraha made an impact on Martin Luther King, who was struggling for the rights of the blacks in America, as well as on Nelson Mandela in South Africa. So children, Gandhiji used the novel technique of Satyagraha for the first time in India. Resisting tyranny and injustice by non-violent ways was an important aspect of this technique. To offer resistance on this kind, great forbearance is required. The aim of Satyagraha is to make the person who inflicts injustice on others aware of the truth and justice of the matter, and thus to bring about a transformation in his or her opinion. Children, Gandhiji taught that a Satyagrahi must never resort to violence and untruth. Even an ordinary person can follow the path of Satyagraha. That is why people in India and the entire world chose the path of Satyagraha to resist injustice. Leaders like Martin Luther King in the United States of America and Nelson Mandela in South Africa, who struggled for the rights of the black people, were greatly influenced by this way adopted by Gandhiji. So children, here you have come to know about Gandhiji's arrival in India and also what was the philosophy of Satyagraha. Children, in Bihar, the farmers of Champaran region were forced to cultivate indigo. The cultivators suffered economically since they received fixed amount from the planters. Gandhiji went to Champaran in 1917. He organized the farmers in Champaran and launched agitation by following the way of Satyagraha. Gandhiji's first war of independence in India became successful and the farmers were given justice. So children, in 1917, the British planters had forced the peasants of Champaran in Bihar to cultivate indigo. Gandhiji did a satyagraha to resist this exploitation and secure justice for the peasants. Children, due to constant famines in Khera districts, that is in Gujarat, the crop had failed. Still, land tax was forcibly collected by the government. Gandhiji suggested that the farmers should refuse to pay the tax. The farmers began the movement for scrapping of tax at Khera in 1918. Gandhiji accepted the leadership of this movement. Within a short period of time, the government suspended the tax. So children, due to constant famines, the crop had failed in the Khera district of Gujarat. The government had compelled the peasants to pay land revenue. The local peasants therefore started a no tax movement in Khera district in 1918. Gandhiji accepted the leadership of this movement. Very soon, the government waived the taxes. Children, during the First World War, there was great inflation. Mill workers demanded for rise in salary, but the mill owners rejected this demand. As per Gandhiji's advice, the workers went on hunger strike. Finally, the mill owners had to back off and the salary of the workers were increased. So children, there was a tremendous rise in the prices of daily necessities during the First World War. Actually, the rise in the prices of daily necessities, that is known as inflation. Even then, the mill owners did not increase the workers' wages, means the salary. This gave rise to discontent among the workers. Gandhiji led the mill workers in their strike and undertook a fast. The mill owners gave in and increased the wages of the workers. So here also we can see that Gandhiji became very successful. Children, in the First World War, the Indians had helped the British. The First World War, the time was from 1914 to 1918. The Indians felt that after the World War is over, there will be a system of governance for taking decision for well-being of the Indians. There was growing unrest among the Indians regarding the increasing prices, taxes, etc. To suppress this discontent and to suggest measures about it, a committee was appointed under Sir Sidney Rowlatt. According to recommendation of this committee, a new law was passed without considering the opposition of Indian members in Central Legislative Assembly on 17th March 1919. This act gave the right to the government to arrest anybody without any warrant or imprison without any trial. Appeal was prohibited against the punishment given through this act. The Indians called this act as Black Act, and a tide of anger arose all over India against this act. Gandhiji launched a Satyagraha against it. On 6th April 1919, he appealed to the Indians to follow Hartal all over India against the act. Indians responded to this appeal on a large scale. So children, the discontent against the British government among the Indians was growing day by day. The British government appointed a committee under the chairmanship of an English judge, Rowlatt, in order to check it. The government passed a new act in accordance with the recommendation of this committee. This is known as Rowlatt Act. The act authorized the government to arrest any Indian without inquiry. Children, there was no appeal against the punishment given under this act. This Black Act enraged the people all over the country. Gandhiji declared a Satyagraha as a mark of protest against this act. He appealed to all Indians to observe a Hartal on 6th April 1919, and the response of the Indian people to this appeal was overwhelming. So children, today I have introduced the topic non-cooperation movement. You have come to know today the role of Gandhiji in South Africa. First of all, you have come to know the beginning of Gandhian era, then the role of Gandhiji in South Africa. Then Gandhiji arrived in our country. Also, I have discussed the philosophy of Satyagraha. You have come to know about Champaran and Khera Satyagraha, then the workers' movement at Ahmedabad, and the Satyagraha against Rowlatt Act were discussed. So children, now it is your turn. You should go through the topic. You should read your textbook. The later part of the topic will be discussed tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay healthy.